What are your thoughts on vertical growth versus horizontal expansion for Mangalore? Which one is good?
Honestly, I think vertical growth is better because given the topography of Mangalore, if Mangalore were to have all the houses which are right now in apartments as single dwelling units in one plot, one house, our expanse of the city, there's a word called urban sprawl. And urban sprawl can work okay in a city like Mysore or Bangalore because it's flatter. And if that were to happen to Mangalore, and imagine it all the way up to some hill in Bajpayee, our city would have reached Nirmarga on one side, maybe BC Road on another side, and would have crossed Suratkal on another side, just to accommodate the number of houses. That way, densification is good because I think with what we have today, anywhere to anywhere is not more than 20 minutes, and south to north is probably half an hour. I would not suggest horizontal growth at all, not for a city with this kind of topography. It could be an in-between thing. I mean, you could have bits and pieces where it's a little taller, but climatically speaking, if you ask me, Charles Correa also talked. He's a great architect. He also talks about having a layer. You take the veranda, which used to protect our houses, and if you use that as part of the design and make it part of your villa in the sky, and if you have cross ventilation on all sides, there is one building that he's done in Bombay, Pedar Road. It's called Kanchenjunga. I don't think anybody's made a better high-rise building than that. It's such an old building yet. I am not a fan of those buildings which are now crossing about 15 to 20 floors. It is an unsustainable method because the cost of construction, the moment you cross a certain height, doubles. A, because you have to carry all that stuff up there, and B, also because there are some rules.
Steel,
Foundation,
size.
all those is one cost. Second is regulatory cost. That means you need to have a sprinkler system, you need to have fire related equipments to be put. If it crosses 60 meters, you need to put on helipad. Then the stuff that goes into it, the utilities that go into it, the wiring for electricity, pipes for water supply switch, everything tends to be more in terms of use of materials. It becomes a little inefficient, and it can then only be affordable only by a few. It doesn't become inclusive. I wouldn't say high rise is the solution. I also wouldn't encourage or suggest that we go horizontal, but some in-between solution. When it comes to housing, it also becomes very anonymous. You don't know who your neighbor is, even if you have 4 apartments per floor. Today we have 1 apartment per floor. When do you meet your neighbors, and where do you meet your neighbors? I guess if somebody dies in your apartment building which has 1 floor in every apartment, you won't even know. It's called anonymity. Do you want to be an anonymous citizen of the city? A very high-rise building which probably would do that. Houses on the ground in cluster form wouldn't do that, but I think we can find a middle ground and incentivize this. See, what a master plan can do is disincentivize anonymity as a result of tall buildings. Disincentivize that. Then, like in Germany, if your house is more than a certain number of square meters, your taxation is double. If people want to build very large houses, fine, but the taxes should not be the same as a person who's built a smaller unit, because the smaller unit is contributing less to the damage of the environment.
Anonymity should be premium.
There is a middle ground for everything.